All right. Good evening, guys. How we doing? Good evening. The last time I went live, somebody said he couldn't hear me, so I told him, well, he should proceed with the video. He will finally get to hear me. All right. So please, wherever you're connecting, we are starting. This session is not going to last more than 25 minutes. All right. So let us know where you're connecting or joining from. Just drop a comment section today. Um, we're going to be sharing on the power of environment and one of the things I'm going to be talking about today is the fact that environment is incredibly powerful. That no matter how good a product is, no matter how good a seed is, if it is in the wrong environment, it will. So let me know where you are connecting and joining from. All right, let me see my phone. Okay, we're good to go. So I said I'm going to be sharing on the power of environment. I won't be that long. And I'm going to start with a story. I deliberately captured this story and I want to start with the story. And I'm going to read out the story because I didn't want to say it by heart. So I want to carefully read out the story because it forms the basis from what I'm going to be sharing. And here goes the story. James was talented, intelligent, and hardworking. Yet he constantly felt frustrated in his workplace. The environment was rigid, highly controlled, and dismissive of new ideas. Over time, his confidence, that's James now, his confidence dropped and his creativity faded. Later, James transitioned into a more collaborative and growth focused organization. The environment encouraged dialogue, innovation, and trust. Almost immediately, his energy returned, his ideas flourished, his leadership skills became evident, and his confidence grew. Now, here's the interesting thing nothing about James changed, his environment did. The right environment unlocked what he has always carried. So James was in an environment that was rigid. He was in an environment that was highly controlled. He was in an environment that was not allowing innovative, creative, high value ideas to thrive. Even though James was talented, intelligent, and hardworking, yet he was not expressing what he had the capacity to be. Now, when he transitioned or moved to a new environment or to another environment, an environment that is encouraging, an environment that allows for innovation and for creativity, an environment that promotes trust, almost immediately his energy, his passion returned. His ideas, his creative ideas, his innovative ideas flourished. His leadership skills that he has always had became obvious, became conspicuous for everyone to see. His confidence grew. The question I want to ask was, James did James always had the leadership skills he had, even when he was in an environment that was not flexible, an environment that never supported ideas, an environment that was not welcoming in terms of expressing what you have the ability and the capacity to be? James always had those abilities. So that's why I captured very clearly that you don't grow in every environment. There are certain environments that limit the expression of the abilities, the capacities that you have. So, who you are is as important as where you function. I'm going to say that again. Who you are is as important as where you function. You see, many people struggle in life not because they lack ability, not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack potential, not even because they lack a sense of vision. They struggle in life because they are in the wrong environment. So even if you have creative and innovative ideas, even if you have life impactful vision, if you are in the wrong environment, an environment that suppresses your ideas, that does not allow for the expression of that idea, you will not become what you have the capacity and the ability to become. Let's give this analogy, an analogy of a seed. I'm sure those of you who are Nigerians, and if you are in the city of Kaduna where I'm streaming live, you will agree with me that except there's a new development in agriculture that I'm not aware of, but as at today, I'm fully aware that you cannot cultivate or grow apple in Kaduna State, except there's a new development. Please, if there's a new development, you can drop in the comment section so that I can update my knowledge on that. But I'm aware that if you want to grow apple, one of the soil texture, the soil environment that is fertile for that particular fruit is in the city called Jos. If you're watching outside this country, the city in Nigeria called Jos. In fact, most people, if they want to buy apple, they rather buy apple from that city because the soil has the fertility or has the potential to grow and is also conducive for the seed called apple. Now, if you take the same seed and attempt to plant it in Kaduna, no matter how sincere you are, if you like water the seed, if you like pray for the seed, if you like fast for the seed, it will not produce the required fruit. So there's nothing wrong with the seed. There's only something wrong with the environment. So it is important you realize that you don't grow in every environment. It's not every environment that is conducive for your vision. It's not every environment that is conducive for your potential. It's not every environment that is conducive for your ideas. You must understand the uniqueness of the environment that is required for your vision, for your ideas, for your potential to thrive. And I'm going to be sharing something very powerful about environment. Number one is that the manifestation of your potential is environment sensitive. I'll say that again. The manifestation of your potential, the manifestation of your dreams, the manifestation of your vision, the manifestation of your purpose is environment sensitive. What that simply means is that even though you are intelligent, even though you have a sense of vision, even though you have leadership capacities, it will not thrive everywhere. There is an environment that is required for the manifestation and the unleashing of your potential. So just like I gave an example of a seed, that you will need the right soil for that seed to grow. So also you need the right environment for your gifts to thrive, for your gifts to blossom, for your gifts and your ideas and everything that you intrinsically and inherently possess to flourish. All right? So if you have an incredible and a global vision, but you are in the wrong environment, that environment, though you have a very awesome vision, that wrong environment will suppress the manifestation of that vision. So even though you have a strong potential, if you are in the wrong environment, that environment is likely to underdevelop your potential. So you must realize, number one, is that your potential is environment sensitive. So if I have the right potential, if I have a strong potential, if I have a great potential, but I'm in the wrong environment, I will not fully utilize, or in some cases, underdevelop or underexpress the potential that I carry. Number two is that the environment affects energy and motivation. Whether you like it or not, some environment energizes you, while some environment drains and sap energy from you. And that is why people who are extremely environment sensitive realize that they build environment around them that energizes them. So you may notice that in some settings, you feel, or certain environment, you feel energized, you feel confident, you feel expressive, you feel creative and innovative. While in some environment, you feel restricted, you feel limited. It's like there is a ceiling or there is a wall. Sometimes it appears to be invisible. I'm not saying spiritually it appears to be invisible, because certain environment can affect your energy, and certain environment can also affect your motivation. You are always energized and you are always motivated when you are in the right environment. I'll say that again. You are always energized and you are always motivated when you are in the right environment. And when you are also in the wrong environment, you are demotivated, and the energy that is required for you to thrive, the energy that is required for you to express all the potentials that you have, is not there. Number three is that environment influences behavior and performance. Number one, we say that environment potential is the manifestation of your potential is environment sensitive. Number two is that environment affects energy and motivation. Then number three is that environment influences behavior and performance. Please don't mind our dog. Oh. I'm sure you guys can hear dog barking. All right. Anyways, so let's continue. When I mentioned you can hear our dog, the dog stopped barking. So it's part of the... So, environment influences behavior and performance. Now, somebody will be asking, Steve, you've been speaking about the concept of environment, how that we don't grow in every environment, we don't thrive in every environment, our vision doesn't blossom, our ideas don't flourish in every environment. You have not been able to articulate intelligently what environment is. And I'm going to do that in a while, but I just want to establish so that you understand the power of environment. Number one, we said that your potential, the manifestation of your potential, is environment sensitive. Number two is that environment affects energy and motivation. Number three is that environment influences behavior and performance. Do you know that you cannot perform beyond the environment that you find yourself? Remember, I mentioned something very profound, that who you are is as important as where you function. Who you are is as important as where you function. So, the expectations, the values, the culture around you affects your behavior, influences your behavior, and also your performance. Some environments are supportive, while some other environments are toxic, they are hostile, they are dysfunctional, and so it shapes your behavior. Every human being on the face of the earth is influenced, is shaped by the environment they are in. So if the environment is toxic, if the environment is hostile, if the environment is dysfunctional, they are going to be influenced. Their behavior and how they perform in life eventually is going to be influenced by it. Notice I didn't say that environment determines behavior. I'm saying it influences behavior. You know, so many years ago, I had a profound insight while studying the Bible. and it really, really, really changed my life. And this is, here's the thought, it was like a light bulb that hit my head. And here was the revelation I want to share with us. People don't become, here's the revelation, people don't become what they have the inherent ability and the capacity to become. People become what their environment influences them to become. It's like a programming. In fact, psychologically, it has been established fundamentally that human beings are a product of two things. Number one, nature and nurture. Nature, it means that certain things were placed in you by God, cannot change, whether it's giftings, abilities, personality type, is nature. Psychologists have established that nurture is equally as powerful as nature. That even though I have the ability and the capacity to do certain things, if my environment, which is nurture, does not support the expression of what I have naturally, I will be limited. So when you see people who are living frustrated life, living depressed life, it's largely because their nurture, which is the environment they are in, is not in alignment with their nature, which is what they have intrinsically and inherently. So we established that environment influences behavior, environment influences performance. You see people behave in certain ways because of the kind of environment they are in. Certain manifestation of attitude and thinking is because of the environment that they are in. Number 4, before I define the environment, what environment is, and then I'll be wrapping up, is that environment reveals how you were wired. Environment reveals how you were wired. I'll give an example. Some people thrive in an environment that is structured, that is quiet, that is a predictable environment. So they function, they function effectively when the environment is structured, is formalized, is quiet, is organized, is predictive. Why other people excel in environment that is dynamic, environment that is fast-paced, environment that is creative, environment that is collaborative. So neither of this environment is bad. It's just that each of these environments reflects our designs. There are people who cannot operate or function in an environment that is dynamic. They can only function in an environment that is structured, an environment that is formalized, an environment that has a hierarchy, that has order, systems, and structure. Now, I'm not saying that an environment that is dynamic is void of system and structure. I'm saying that in a structured organization, ideas, innovative ideas are communicated or expressed in a certain way. But in a dynamic environment, leadership is flat. Everybody is seen as a leader. People can come up with values and solutions that will make a difference in the organization. So having said that, what exactly is environment as I begin to wrap up? What is environment? Environment is not limited to a physical location. However, it involves that, but it's not limited. So when I say it's not limited to a physical location, you should know that I'm saying that it includes or it involves, but it's not limited to a physical location. Environment principally and primarily is people. Please, this is so important. Environment is not limited to a physical location, to a place. Environment begins primarily with people. So people constitute environment. When you say an environment is toxic, it's not toxic by itself. It's toxic because there are toxic people in that environment. When you say an environment is hostile, when you say an environment is dysfunctional, what you are saying is that the people in that environment are hostile, the people in that environment are toxic, the people in that environment are dysfunctional. When you say an environment is supportive, when you say an environment is dynamic, when you say an environment is encouraging, when you say an environment allows for the expression rather than the suppression of one's potential, you are just referring to people. So the first thing you want to know about the environment is people. So what we are saying in essence is that there are certain relationships, there are certain associations that will not allow you to grow. If you are going to grow as a person, you must need to change your environment. What that simply means that if you are transitioning from certain environments into another environment, it means you are transitioning from certain relationship into another relationship. I can tell you that relationship have profound impact in what you become or in who you become and the degree to which you manifest what you have the capacity inside of you. So the first thing I want you to understand is the environment is not limited to a physical location. Environment begins principally, it's about people. Number two things I want you to know about the environment, in addition to that, is not limited to a physical location, though it includes the physical location. Number one is people. Number two is the culture. Environment also, culture is also a part of an environment. By culture, in a very simple sense, let's not complicate the concept of what culture is and then go into the sociological understanding of what culture is. Culture simply means the way things are done in a place. It's part of environment. Do you know that while growing up, I don't want to mention the environment I grew up in, but while growing up, one of the things I observed in the environment that I grew up in was the fact that I could not find one single graduate. I mean, people did not value education. It was the way people live. There was no premium value on education. All right? So, culture is also part of environment, apart from people, the way things are done. People's culture about money, people's culture about marriage, people's culture about influence, people's culture about what life really is about. People have culture, and all of these are part of environment, and that is why we say that environment influences behavior. Environment influences performance. Sometimes you cannot change a person's performance until you change the environment. Sometimes you cannot change a person's behavior until you change the environment. Why? Because they are dealing with not just people, but they are dealing with culture. They are dealing with the culture around money, the culture around leadership, the culture around relationship, the culture around influence, the culture around a life of impact and a life of relevance. And then last, number three, about environment is expectation. I'm telling you, every environment, number one, not just the physical location, but number one is people, number two, culture, number three, expectation. Every environment has certain expectations. Do you know there are certain environments where once a lady is maybe 25 or 6, maybe 18, the expectation is that she should be married? And if you're not careful, that expectation will influence your choices and your decision as a lady. Because, in fact, in Nigeria, when you finish service as a lady, your parents automatically expect that in addition to your NYC certificate, you should bring a man. It's an expectation. It's part of the environment. Why in other environments, when you are done with your first degree, the next thing they are thinking of is your master's, or they are thinking that you should start a business. They are not saying getting married is wrong, but that is not the expectation of that environment. So why in one environment you're done with your first degree, they expect you to bring a man as a lady. In another environment, the expectation is that when you're done with your first degree, you're thinking of going for a master's, or you're thinking of doing another degree, or you're thinking of starting a business, or pursuing a clearly defined career path. So such environments influences behavior. So a lady behave in a certain way, or a guy behave in a certain way because of the expectation of the culture, or the culture that he lives or is in. Now, in the next 2 minutes, I'll be 1 minute as I begin to wrap. I told myself I will not exceed 25 minutes, so I have just 1 minute. Steve, if I live in a toxic, dysfunctional, hostile environment, what do I do? What do you advise me? Should I change location? If the environment is such that the people there do not see beyond where they are, the culture there is suppressing, the mentality there is limiting, the expectation there is not allowing for the expression of what I have. What should I do in such environment? I'll just give you two things. Number one is that you create a new environment for yourself, even if you are physically in an environment that has a limiting mindset that people operate in, a culture that does not promote, facilitate, and accelerates the expression of what you have inside of you, and also a expectation that is suppressing of what you carry inside of you. What you should do is to create another environment. How do I create another environment, Steve? Pursue new information. I can tell you, knowledge introduces you to a new environment. So you can be in a dysfunctional, toxic environment. I mean physical environment, not just toxic people. I mean physical environment that promotes toxicity, dysfunctionality. What you should do is that you should pursue new knowledge. If you're going to rise above your environment, you must pursue knowledge. The Bible said that my people are destroyed not because of the environment they are in, they are destroyed because they lack knowledge. So if you're going to rise above your environment that is limiting, whether it's people, culture, and expectation, pursue knowledge. Knowledge is light. Light is what is responsible for our outcomes. Light is what is responsible for our decisions. So if your decision and your behavior is going to be different, so that it is not a product of your environment, it should be a product of knowledge. So number one, pursue knowledge. Number two is that deliberately pursue relationship and association with people who are better than you. Deliberately identify and pursue relationship with people who are better than you, who have more result and more outcomes than you. Deliberately pursue relationship with them. And then lastly, attempt to produce or attempt to take actions that is contrary to the environment that you're in. Whether it's with the people, whether it's with the culture, whether it's with the expectation. So three things you need to do if you're in an environment that is limiting. Number one is that pursue knowledge. Knowledge is light. Number two is that deliberately identify and pursue the company or relationship of people who are better than you. And then number three is that be deliberate and intentional about taking actions that contradicts the environment that you are in that is limiting and that suppresses the potential that you have inside of you. It's important that you make up your mind in 2026 that you're going to be deliberate about your environment, because you cannot grow everywhere. You cannot excel everywhere. You cannot succeed everywhere. You can only succeed when your environment is right. And by environment, we mean the quality of people that you're in, the culture that is practiced, and the expectations that they have about life must align with your vision, must align with your potentials and the possibility that you carry inside of you. I hope that in 2026 you'll be more deliberate about the environment that you find yourself. Be in an environment where your gift thrives, be in an environment that challenges you, be in an environment that stretches you, be in an environment that challenges that forces you to grow, that forces you want to become a better version of yourself. Thank you everyone for connecting. I'll see you guys next week. I don't know when next week, but certainly next week I'm going to be connecting with you guys. We're going to be discussing something life changing. See you guys, and bye for now. Bye.